Great. Thank you for doing such a great job this first week coming back. I know that it's hard to sometimes be at home and doing your learning, but I'm really, really proud of all of you for all the effort that you've put in this week. Today, we're going to take a look at some different reading things, and the first thing we're going to look at is this chart worksheet. A chart, you'll remember, is going to give us information in an organized way. So we want to read the chart. You can see that our chart is going to talk about a duck, and a chicken. So what we're going to see is that there are some things that are very specific to a duck and some things that are very specific to a chicken. A duck has wings, a long, flat beak, webbed feet, and lays eggs. A chicken has wings, has a small beak, does not have webbed feet, no webbed feet, but also lays eggs. So what we want to do is we want to be able to answer these questions looking at the chart. So, which has wings? A duck, a chicken, or both? Okay, well, let's look. A duck has wings. A chicken has wings. So we have to circle both. You can circle it or you can put a box around it. Number 2, it says, which has a small beak? A small beak. Okay, let's look at beaks. Long, flat beak. Small beak. Which one has a small beak? The chicken. Why don't we put a bubble around chicken? Which has webbed feet? Here's the feet. Webbed feet is the duck. Let's put a triangle around duck. Okay, now it says use the chart to help you answer the question. What is one thing that is the same about a duck and a chicken? What's one thing that's the same? I saw 2 things that were the same. One thing is that they both have wings, and the other is that they both lay eggs. I want to talk about the eggs. If you decide that you want to write about the wings, you go right ahead. I'm going to say they both lay eggs. And remember, we talked about capital letters and we've talked about end marks. We also talked this week about making sure that our letters are looking really good, really sharp. We want to make sure that we can read it nice and neat. Okay, so make sure that it looks like mine. If you wanted to say that the chicken and the duck both have wings, you could still start with they both, and then instead of lay eggs, you would say have wings. And then you would put your period after wings. Okay? So either way is super great with me. While we're together, I want to go over, I want to go over our grammar. This week we've been talking about contractions. You'll remember that a contraction is a short way of saying and writing 2 words. So you have your contraction worksheet. There was a front side and a back side for this sheet today. So what we need to do is we have to write the contraction for the underlined word. I'm going to only do 1 or 2 of them with you. You're going to do the rest. Sam and Tate were not at school. So I need to take were not and I need to make it into a contraction. So remember, I'm going to keep the first word. I'm going to move the N over. I'm getting rid of the O, and in place of it, I have to put that apostrophe. That's that stitch. And then I have to slide the T over. And it's weren't. So Sam and Tate weren't at school. Okay? And let's do number 5 together. We are not running in the rain. So I'm going to keep my first word, are. I'm going to slide my N over, getting rid of the O, and I'm putting that apostrophe, that stitch, and then put the T at the end. You guys are responsible for 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you take your paper and you flip it over to the back side, you have was and were. what we have to do is we have to figure out what's wrong in the sentences. It's either going to be a contraction or it's going to be that we didn't use was or were correctly. So you have to circle the mistake and then you have to rewrite the sentence. I'm going to do one with you. I'm going to do number 1. Mike were in the den. Was talks about one person, place, or thing. Were talks about 2 or more. Mike is one person. So we can't say Mike were in the den. So you need to circle were. It needs to be Mike was in the den. So I'm going to put was there so I don't forget. And now I have to rewrite my sentence. Mike was in the den. Don't forget, you still need your period at the end of your sentence. Okay? Now, you're going to do the same thing for the rest of these sentences. I need you to find what's wrong. It could be a contraction. It could be was and were. Then you need to rewrite it correctly. Don't rewrite it the same way it was. Fix the mistake. Okay? So, that is what you need to do for that sheet. Now, first grade. I also want to talk about your sentence it and your math it. Those were also in your folder today. So for sentence it and math it, you need to write a sentence using each of the words. It gives you 2 lines to do it. So if I'm talking about mail, I could see I got 3 pieces of mail today. Okay, mail was my word, so I'm underlining mail. I made sure I started with a capital letter and ended with a period. You do not need to use my sentence, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other sentences. This is my chance to see how you're doing with making sentences, okay? So if something isn't spelled correctly, it's okay, but you definitely should have the word that's on the side spelled right, okay? The other sheet is that math it sheet. Thank you for just listening so that you can make sure that we do this correctly. So what you're going to do for this math it sheet is you're going to use the phone code to turn these words into a math problem. So for the word rain, I have to find the letter R on this phone. And what letter goes in that box? 7. A. 2. I. 4. N. 6. Okay, now this is a regular math problem, and we have worked with these problems, haven't we? So you'll remember that for these math problems, you first want to find your group of 10 if there is one. I found one there. And I know 7 and 2 do not give me 10. So 7 plus 2 is 9, and 9 plus 10. 9 plus 10 is 19. Okay, how fun, right? So you're going to go ahead and do that same thing down the row. So you're going to take your letters from your words and find them in your phone and then add them up when you're all done and put your answer in this little box. How fun. So enjoy doing all this work today, the sentences and the math it. Thanks for working with the chart with me this morning and for doing great work with your grammar. I can't wait to see how that grammar turns out. I will see you all on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend.